horror fans to 2015's Horror Month on Box Office Maniacs. Now, today I am going to review a movie that came out a few weeks ago called The Green Inferno. Now, if you're not familiar with The Green Inferno, it's directed by Eli Roth. And if you don't know who Eli Roth is, well, he became famous for directing Hostel and Hostel 2. So he's kind of known for all of his graphic violence in his films. I'm not going to say I'm a huge Eli Roth fan. I mean, I did like both Hostel and Hostel 2. Didn't think they were the greatest movies ever, but, I still believe that there is room for graphic horror movies out still. I know we still have the scary films like what James Wan's been doing with The Conjuring and Insidious and things like that he's directed, and I absolutely love those films. Don't get me wrong, those are great. But I still believe that there is room for graphic horror still in the cinemas, even though we don't get it that often. I had heard about The Green Inferno probably over a year ago that it was supposed to come out. And what I read about it was that Eli Roth actually went to deep into the jungles. I don't know where he was. I'm just going to say the Amazon. Every place is in Amazon. And he actually found a group of natives that's never been on film before. So all these natives that were in the movie were actually real natives living in the forest, and they had never gotten outside technology. So they never used a cell phone, didn't even know what a cell phone was, never saw a camera, let alone anything like an iPod or anything. So I thought that was really cool. When I heard about that, I was like, wow, that is such an awesome idea to go out there and film a real tribe. Somehow this movie ended up in the courts. I don't know what the problem with it was. I didn't go back and research or anything, but I know something had happened in the film and it ended up in the court system for a year. Finally, it came out at the end of September, and I rushed out to go see it because, like I said, I was waiting forever to go see this. And I had never actually seen a cannibal film before, or at least never one in the show anyway. And I was in a mood for a really gross, disgusting film, because I haven't seen a good one in a long time. And unfortunately, this one wasn't a good one either. First of all, the problem with it is the story wasn't very good. I know what you're going to say, well, it's a horror movie. Does the story really matter? Well, yeah, it actually does matter, even in a horror movie. The movie starts out really slow. It doesn't even get going probably until at least 25, 30 minutes into the movie. The biggest problem is not even the story, it's the acting in this film. Just horrible acting. I don't know where they found these people, but pretty much every actress and actor in this film was bad. I mean, the best actors were the natives, and they weren't even actors. It was really cool to see these natives, don't get me wrong. It was really awesome to see them in their own habitat. But you could tell they weren't actors, obviously. And there's a lot of scenes where they're sitting there going, whoa, 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 raising their hands up in the air. And you could just see Eli Roth standing right off camera going like this. Raise your hands up in the air, everybody. Do this, do this. And that's, they were following basically what he was saying. And the other big problem I had with the movie, when all the natives were around each other, they were just kind of standing around and, raising their hands up in the air. And nobody had their mouth open. But they had this soundtrack where it's like, whoa, whoa, they're all chanting and, all this sound and, all this stuff was going on. And they're sitting there and they had, this big sound going on. And I was like, wow, that's just terrible. Because obviously they weren't making any noise. And they had to make it look like it was much larger than what it was. Let's get to the gross parts of this film. First of all, there is an art to being grossed out. There is an art to violence, believe it or not. You can either have just violence and just have blood squirting and whatever, but then you can actually have an art to it as well. This movie is the opposite of what an artistic, violent film is. All the props and everything from this film look like you could just go down to your local Halloween store and buy. The body parts were all floppy. I mean, you could just tell they were just rubbery carcasses, and they weren't realistic. And the blood was there just to shock you. That's all it was there for. It was like, oh, wow, that's gross. But there was no art to it. There was no real, wow, they did that so well, and it looks really good. It was there just to be there. And I really hate movies like that. Even though I do enjoy the violent film once in a while, if it's done in sort of an artistic way, I don't mind it. but just to gross you out, I think is stupid. So throughout this whole film, the story never did improve. It actually got worse, I think, towards the ending of it. So in all, this movie was just a huge disappointment for me. Eli Roth really has to do something great for his next film in order for me to get back on the Eli Roth train. If his next film comes out and if it's as bad as this, I'm pretty much done with him, I think. And I won't go out to the theater to see another one of his films. That's how bad this was. The one thing I did enjoy in the film, I did enjoy was the scenery. It was amazing to see these rainforests and the rivers, and it was an incredible scenery in this film. And because of that, the Green Inferno gets a 2 out of 5. I would have given it a 1, but I liked scenery. Alright, so make sure you guys come back all week long. We are doing nothing but horror, movie reviews, Blu-ray reviews, everything. And if you like what you see on this channel, make sure you support us by hitting that subscribe button and tell your friends about it. Alright, guys and girls, go out and get spooky.